The mountain swallows all sound when one steps beneath its first layers of stone. It is a slow, ancient hunger, felt not in the ears, but in the bones. Blackrock Mountain stands like a titan's fossilized heart, its hollowed interior pulsing with heat from a wound cut open long before living memory. And within that cavernous throat lies Blackrock Depths, the city forge of the dark iron dwarves, carved not for glory, not for beauty, but for necessity and survival. It is a place built under duress, shaped by fire's will, and stained by choices that would echo through centuries. To understand what truly happened in Blackrock Depths, one must follow the trail of ash backward to its beginning, far older than the forges that burn there still. For the story of this undercity is not the story of one ruler, or one clan, or one era. It is the collision of ambition and consequence. It is the history of a dwarven people who sought dominion and instead found subjugation under flame. It is a chronicle of ancient pacts, shattered kingdoms, and the slow, relentless grinding of destiny beneath stone. Long before Blackrock Depths existed, before the first chisel struck the first wall, the dwarven race lived united under the mountain city of Ironforge. From this unity emerged 3 clans, each carrying its own temperament. The Bronzebeards ruled the mountain with steady authority. The Wildhammers dwelled in the high places and roamed the skies. The Dark Irons kept to their own halls, practicing arts both arcane and forbidden. Rivalry simmered among them, growing hotter over generations as grudges hardened into something far more dangerous. The death of High King Maudamus Anvilmar shattered the fragile balance. In the chaos that followed, the 3 dwarven clans erupted into civil war, the War of the 3 Hammers. Each clan sought control of Ironforge. The Dark Irons, led by sorcerer Thane Thaurissan and his queen Modgud, launched assaults on both the Bronzebeards and the Wildhammers. Modgud attacked Grim Batol, while Thaurissan marched on Ironforge itself. But dwarven stubbornness is matched only by dwarven resilience. The Bronzebeards held fast, the Wildhammers repelled Modgud, and the united forces of Ironforge and Grim Batol crushed the Dark Irons, driving them back in disgrace. This defeat marked a turning point, a moment steeped in bitterness and desperation. Thaurissan, humiliated, retreated to the Red Ridge Mountains where his clan lived in the volcanic shadows. His fury burned so brightly that it eclipsed reason. He searched for power beyond mortal reach, a force capable of avenging the Dark Iron's downfall. In the depths beneath the mountains, his sorcerers conducted rituals forbidden even among their own people. They called upon the raw fire at the world's core, believing they could command the elemental might that slumbered there. What answered their call was not meant for mortal hands. The ritual tore open a conduit into an ancient dominion. The earth heaved, the mountains cracked, and through that wound surged Ragnaros the Firelord, an elemental being whose power had once shaped primordial continents. His arrival obliterated Thaurissan and his city in an explosion of molten rock. It hollowed the mountain into the vast chamber known today as Blackrock Mountain. Lava surged upward in rivers. The Dark Irons who survived found themselves bound to a force older than their history, enslaved by the very power they had attempted to command. From this point forward, the Dark Irons lived in servitude to Ragnaros. Their fate was sealed not by conquest of steel, but by the binding of an elemental lord who claimed their souls as penance for their hubris. and under his burning gaze, they began the construction of Blackrock Depths. The depths were not built all at once. They expanded slowly through centuries of toil, shaped from the obsidian-rich walls of the mountain's lower reaches. The early chambers were carved under constant threat of collapse, for the mountain's interior was unstable, reshaped by the Firelord's eruption. But the dark irons persevered. They braced the stone with iron buttresses. They carved wide halls for forges and mines. They channeled magma streams for heat and energy. Their skill in metalwork grew sharper under pressure, becoming a signature of their tortured brilliance. At the center of their creation rose the seat of their empire, the Dark Iron Capital, ruled by the Thaurissan line, descendants of the original Sorcerer King. Each ruler walked a narrow path between honoring their dwarven heritage and appeasing the elemental master who held absolute dominion over their fates. Among these rulers was Emperor Dagran Thaurissan, who would one day define the final era of Blackrock Depths. Dagran was born into a world shaped entirely by Ragnaros's will. He inherited a people divided between pride and despair. The Dark Irons had not forgotten their defeat during the War of the Three Hammers. They had not forgotten being driven from their ancestral home, and they had not forgotten the shame of summoning a power that enslaved them. Their resentment toward the other clans festered in the molten shadows of the depths. Yet the Dark Irons were not without strength. Their mastery of metalcraft surpassed that of any other dwarves. Their forges burned hotter. Their enchantments delved deeper into elemental fire. Their armies were disciplined, their resolve forged by centuries of harsh rule. And at the heart of it all stood Dagran Thaurissan, intelligent, ambitious, and unyielding. He sought a future where his people would rise from under the Firelord's shadow, reclaim their rightful place among the dwarven clans, and perhaps someday stand as equals instead of servants. To maintain order within the depths, Dagran oversaw multiple factions, each integral to the functioning of the Undercity. Foremost among them were the Forge Masters, dwarves whose entire lives revolved around metal, stone, and heat. They commanded immense respect. Their forges supplied weapons and armor not only for Dark Iron soldiers, but for the forces of Ragnaros himself. Their work was known for its distinctive dark sheen and durability, qualities that originated from the unique mineral composition of the mountain. The soldiers of Blackrock Depths formed another critical pillar of Dagran's authority. Trained relentlessly, these dwarves patrolled the halls with precision, upholding order in a city where tensions often simmered beneath the surface. Among them were elite warriors tasked with protecting the Emperor directly. Their loyalty to Dagran was unwavering, shaped by generations of indoctrination that upheld the Thaurissan line as the rightful rulers of the Dark Irons. Overseeing law and punishment were the wardens and jailers who maintained the sprawling prisons carved into the lower sectors. The prisons of Blackrock Depths held criminals, rebels, captured enemies, and any dwarf who dared question the Firelord's supremacy. Discipline was harsh, and sentences were often permanent. The prisoners toiled endlessly in the mines, extracting minerals necessary for the forges above. The wardens carried out their duties with grim resolve, for failure meant not only dishonor, but punishment from the Firelord's priests. These priests formed perhaps the most dangerous faction within the depths. They served directly under Ragnaros and were bound to his will more tightly than any other dwarves. Their rituals maintained the Firelord's presence within the mountain. They invoked the elemental flame in ceremonies that reinforced the pact forged during sorcerer Thane Thaurissan's doomed summoning. The priests wielded significant influence, and Dagran often had to tread carefully to avoid provoking their ire. For though he was the emperor, the priests answered only to Ragnaros. Yet in spite of these pressures, Dagran held an unusual aspiration: unity. He believed the dwarven clans could be reconciled. He believed that the Dark Irons deserved a place in the larger dwarven society, not as enemies, but as kin. But such hopes were not easily realized. The Bronzebeards and Wildhammers remembered the atrocities committed by the Dark Irons during the War of the Three Hammers. They remembered Modgud's attack on Grim Batol, the sorcery that had twisted the mountain, and the countless lives lost to dark magic. Reconciliation seemed impossible. Nevertheless, Dagran sought to bridge the gap between clans. He understood that if the dwarves ever stood united again, their combined strength could challenge even elemental subjugation. This desire for unity, though never fully realized, set the stage for one of the most significant events in Dark Iron history: the capture of Moira Bronzebeard, daughter of King Magni of Ironforge. Moira's presence in Blackrock Depths is a matter of strict canon, though the exact circumstances of her departure from Ironforge remain uncertain. It is known that she traveled to Blackrock Mountain. It is known that Dagran and Moira formed a bond. And it is known that they married, producing an heir who carried the blood of both the Thaurissan and Bronzebeard lines. Their union was controversial, unexpected, and politically explosive. For the first time since the Civil War, the possibility of dwarven unity appeared not through conquest, but through lineage. Moira lived within the depths for a time, and her presence added new layers of political tension. The Bronzebeards feared she was a prisoner. Dagran maintained she was with him willingly. Canon records offer no fabricated details of her daily life there, nor of the city's response. What is known is that she carried Dagran's child, a fact that would shape future dwarven politics, but did not alter the internal structure of Blackrock Depths while she remained there. Dagran continued ruling as emperor during her stay. His leadership did not waver. The forges operated, the soldiers trained, the prisoners labored, the priests tended their flames. Blackrock Depths remained the beating heart of the Dark Iron domain, its halls echoing with the hammering of blackened steel and the distant rumble of magma. Blackrock Depths also served as the central industrial hub for the Dark Irons. Its forges produced materials used across Blackrock Mountain, including the armaments wielded by the Dark Iron forces stationed throughout the upper reaches. The great foundries within the depths were marvels of dwarven engineering, driven by geothermal heat. Some forges channeled magma directly into troughs for smelting. Others relied on elaborate bellows powered by mechanical constructs, which the Dark Irons had mastered long before other dwarven clans embraced such technology. One of the most important structures within the depths was the Molten Span, a wide bridge that passed over a river of lava. This feature symbolized the tenuous balance the Dark Irons maintained between survival and destruction. It connected essential sections of the city, allowing workers, soldiers, and officials to travel between sectors safely. Below the bridge roared the molten heart of the mountain, a constant reminder of the elemental force ruling them. Nearby stood the dark iron barracks, where soldiers drilled under harsh conditions. The barracks were carved from stone reinforced with iron plates, designed to withstand tremors and heat surges from the volcanic activity below. Each soldier trained relentlessly, honing their skills in close combat, shield formations, and ranged attacks using dark iron weaponry. This discipline ensured that the Dark Irons remained formidable despite their enslavement to Ragnaros. Further within the Undercity, the Hall of Crafting showcased the ingenuity of the Dark Iron engineers. Here, mechanical constructs were assembled, automatons forged from dark metal and powered by arcane cores. These constructs performed various tasks within the Thaurissan depths, reducing the need for manual labor and increasing efficiency in both mining and security. The Dark Iron engineers, though few in number, were renowned for their mastery of mystical forge technology, a combination of elemental energy and dwarven craftsmanship. Toward the lower sectors lay the grimly significant detention areas. Dark Iron justice was renowned for its severity. Those imprisoned were often forced into mine labor, extracting precious minerals from dangerous veins corrupted by magical residue. The prisoners worked under constant supervision, as the mines were prone to collapses and lava seepage. Escape from these depths was nearly impossible. The city's upper sections contained the royal quarters and the throne room where Emperor Dagran ruled. His throne was carved from obsidian and iron, reflecting the dual nature of dark iron power, born of stone, sustained by flame. It was here, within these solemn walls, that Dagran oversaw the governance of his people, mediated disputes among the forge masters, and coordinated strategies to maintain stability within Blackrock Mountain. Despite the city's harsh environment, Blackrock Depths was not merely a place of suffering. It was a testament to dwarven endurance. Its halls were filled with the echoes of hammers, the chants of priests, and the reverberating steps of disciplined soldiers. It stood as a monument to the Dark Iron's ability to survive under immense pressure, sustained only by their unwavering determination. But the mountain's peace, such as it was, would not last. Outside forces eventually learned of Moira Bronzebeard's presence within the depths. King Magni believed she was held captive. His grief and anger drove him to action. He sought allies capable of infiltrating Blackrock Mountain, navigating its dangerous corridors, and confronting the Emperor directly. Those who answered this call descended deep into the mountain, confronting numerous dark iron defenders positioned throughout the depths. Dagran Thaurissan's death came during this incursion. The circumstances are canonical. He fell in battle. The aftermath is equally clear. Moira, carrying Dagran's heir, returned to Ironforge, under the escort of those who had defeated the Emperor. Her grief was profound, but her resolve was unbroken. She would soon claim her position as ruler of the Dark Iron clan, though not from Blackrock Depths. Her departure marked the end of Blackrock Depths' era of stability. The death of Emperor Dagran Thaurissan altered the balance of Blackrock Depths in a way no tremor of the mountain ever had. News of his fall spread through the Undercity like smoke through a forge vent, slow at first, then filling every chamber until it was impossible to ignore. The Dark Iron dwarves did not wail or cry out, for such displays were foreign to their nature. but a deep stillness settled over the depths, a silence born of uncertainty. Their emperor, the one who had maintained a delicate equilibrium among priests, soldiers, forge masters, and wardens, was gone. Yet life within Blackrock Depths did not halt. It could not. The forges still burned. The magma still churned. The forge masters continued shaping weapons, their hammers rising and falling with unbroken rhythm. Their duties remained unchanged, for their craft did not depend on the presence of a ruler. The dark iron forges had existed before Daegron's rise, and they would continue long after his death. The soldiers stationed throughout the depths likewise held their disciplines. Their patrol routes remained the same. Their drills echoed through the stone as they maintained formation in the training halls. For them, the Emperor's death was a shift in leadership, not a collapse of purpose. They were taught that the Thaurissan line endured beyond individuals, that their loyalty was to the clan and to its ancient duty under fire. But beneath this outward continuation, the fabric of the depths loosened. The Dark Irons had always been a people defined by strict hierarchy, their survival dependent upon coordinated effort. With the Emperor's death and Moira's departure, the central authority that held these factions in balance dissolved. No uprising erupted in the wake of the loss, for the Dark Irons were not a rebellious people by nature. Instead, the Undercity returned to an earlier state, one governed by individual powers rather than a unified crown. The priests of Ragnaros seized this moment to solidify their influence. Their sanctums glowed brighter than ever, fed by the elemental fire they served. They regarded Daegron's death not as a tragedy, but as a reminder that mortal leaders were merely actors in a drama scripted by their elemental master. For the priests, the will of Ragnaros outweighed any political concerns of the dwarven clans. They continued their rituals and maintained the link between Blackrock Mountain and the Firelord's realm. Their chants, carried by waves of molten heat, echoed through the depths with renewed intensity. In the absence of an emperor, those same priests served as the highest authority within the Undercity, though their dominance was neither absolute nor uncontested. The Forge Masters, whose mastery of industry sustained the entire city, retained substantial influence. Their work was indispensable. Without their craft, the forges would cool, the armories would empty, and the mountain's lifeblood would stagnate. So long as the Firelord demanded weapons and constructs, the Forge Masters held an unspoken power. Likewise, the wardens of the lower prisons and mines maintained their own domains. The mines extended deep into layers of stone, corrupted by the fiery eruption that had formed the mountain's interior. Veins of dark ore, infused with magical residue, were extracted under the watchful eyes of wardens whose authority within the mines was unquestioned. The Emperor had relied upon them to enforce the harsh justice of the depths. Now, without Daegron's oversight, their autonomy increased. These factions did not clash openly, for open conflict would threaten the very survival of their people. But the subtle balance that defined the depths shifted, and each group adjusted its position in the quiet, unspoken ways that had governed Dark Iron society for centuries. While the internal dynamics settled into their new patterns, the structure and meaning of Blackrock Depths remained unchanged. The city still stood as the primary center of Dark Iron industry, religion, military organization, and culture. Its vast network of halls, chambers, and forges represented one of the greatest engineering feats of dwarvenkind. And though the political landscape had altered, the physical reality of the depths persisted, demanding the same relentless labor it always had. The foundry, positioned near the heart of the Undercity, remained one of the most vital locations. Powered by rivers of molten rock that flowed directly beneath its platforms, it served as the furnace of the Dark Iron Empire. Massive iron cauldrons brimmed with liquid metal, stirred by long-handled implements forged from enchanted compounds, capable of withstanding immense heat. Here, the iconic black iron was shaped into sheets, bars, and components used throughout the mountain. The foundry's roar was constant, a deep thunder that resonated through the surrounding tunnels. Beyond the foundry lay the Hall of Law, a somber structure where justice was dispensed. Its walls were carved with runes symbolizing order, strength, and consequence. Though Daegran had once presided over the hall as its ultimate authority, his absence did not end its function. The wardens and their superiors continued judging transgressions, handing down sentences with the same severity as before. The mines remained full of those who violated the rigid codes of the depths, and the clangor of pickaxes continued unabated. The Great Forge, a massive chamber carved with meticulous precision, remained a pinnacle of dark iron craftsmanship. Powered by channels directing magma into carefully constructed conduits, it allowed smiths to create large-scale works, including armaments for war and components for machinery. Special alloys unique to the dark irons were crafted here, some infused with elemental energy harvested by the priests. These materials were prized for their resilience and magical properties. Many dwarven weapons forged elsewhere paled in comparison to the output of the Great Forge. The Grim Guzzler, the famed tavern within the depths, continued operating as well. Its existence, an unexpected pocket of levity in an oppressive environment, was a testament to the dwarven spirit. Dark irons, though shaped by fire and hardened by adversity, still sought brief escapes within their lives. The tavern's barrels, filled with potent brews crafted from subterranean fungi and minerals, remained in circulation. Music, conversation, and the occasional brawl could still be found within its walls. Even in the shadow of a dead emperor, dwarves continued to drink. Beyond these public chambers lay the royal quarters, where Daegran had once lived. After his death, these rooms became silent. Canon offers no record of who assumed residence afterward, nor suggests any successor in the depths itself. The quarters remained a symbol of an absent leadership, preserved as part of a lineage severed abruptly. Moira's child, Daegran Thaurissan II, would one day claim the Dark Iron Throne, but his rule would be centered in Iron Forge, not Blackrock Depths. Thus, the Undercity became an orphaned kingdom, its rightful heir residing far from its molten halls. As centuries-old structures persisted around them, the Dark Irons continued their daily routines. The soldiers upheld their defenses, guarding the entrances leading into the city and patrolling the inner corridors. Their vigilance was necessary, for Blackrock Depths remained one of the most strategically significant locations within Blackrock Mountain. With Ragnaros dwelling in the deepest reaches above, the Dark Irons acted as both custodians and gatekeepers of the Firelord's domain. Their proximity to the elemental lord shaped every aspect of their existence. Ragnaros's presence radiated through the mountain in waves of heat and magical force. The Firelord did not descend into the depths, for his domain was the molten core above, but his influence permeated the environment. The air shimmered. Magma responded to his moods. The priests interpreted these fluctuations as omens, adjusting their rituals accordingly. Every dark iron dwarf grew up under this influence. Generations born within the mountain developed a cultural identity defined by fire. They were proud of their blackened skin and ember-like eyes, traits shaped by generations of exposure to extreme heat and elemental energies. Their resilience, both physical and emotional, was remarkable. The depths demanded strength, and the dwarves forged it within themselves. The layout of the depths reinforced this resilience. The city's design was not haphazard, but intentional, built to withstand environmental challenges unique to its position. Thick iron bracings supported major corridors. Reinforced stone pillars held ceilings above chambers, prone to shifts in the stone. Many tunnels were angled to allow heat to rise away from living spaces, creating a functional, if still harsh, habitation for its people. The lower mines extended deep into the earth, reaching veins of ore infused with magic from the mountain's violent history. Miners toiled tirelessly, their work essential for sustaining the forges. The risk of cave-ins, lava bursts, and magical anomalies remained constant. Mining was among the most dangerous duties in the depths, yet many dwarves accepted it without complaint. They were a people accustomed to hardship. The presence of the golems, massive constructs of stone and metal, provided both labor, assistance, and defensive capability. These golems, animated by arcane cores and guided through runic inscriptions, patrolled specific areas of the depths. Some operated near the Great Forge, helping with heavy lifting and transport. Others served as guardians for restricted zones. Their forms were imposing, and their movements carried the weight of centuries-old enchantments. Though these constructs were bound to the will of the Dark Irons, the magic that animated them was ancient and occasionally unpredictable. Some golems malfunctioned, wandering aimlessly or turning hostile. When such incidents occurred, the engineers responsible for maintaining them would perform recalibration rituals, adjusting the runes and replacing degraded cores. The presence of these constructs added a layer of complexity to the already intricate structure of the depths. The deepest sections of the Undercity connected to caverns where the heat intensified beyond tolerable limits. These areas were not inhabited by dwarves, but served as transitional spaces between the mortal-built depths and the fiery domain of Ragnaros. Here, the very walls glowed with internal heat. Rivers of molten stone flowed in patterns shaped by ancient eruptions. Elementals roamed freely, embodiments of the primal fire that commanded this region. These fire elementals, some spawned spontaneously from magma pools, acted on instinct and the broader will of Ragnaros. They posed a constant hazard. Their presence required the Dark Irons to maintain fortified barriers and secure patrols. They were not allies. Their obedience extended only as far as the Firelord's will dictated. Dwarves learned to navigate these regions with caution, for a misstep could result in instant immolation. Thus, Blackrock Depths remained a place intertwined with elemental forces, held together by discipline and the unbreakable will of a people, hardened by centuries of servitude and conflict. The city was not a ruin nor a realm abandoned. It remained active, a breathing, burning entity, shaped by industry, maintained by necessity, and defined by the history that had forged it. The departure of Moira Bronzebeard, though significant for the larger dwarven world, did not dismantle the structure of the depths. Her child, the heir of 2 clans, would influence future politics, but those events played out far from the Undercity. The depths remained as it had always been, the domain of the Dark Irons, the center of their craft, the stronghold of their endurance, and the shadowed artery feeding Blackrock Mountain's greater regions. Throughout the years that followed Dagran's fall, Blackrock Depths continued to operate in this state. It was neither destroyed nor transformed by outside intervention. Its halls remained populated by Dark Irons, who pursued their duties as they always had. Its foundries continued to produce armaments. Its prisons continued to hold those sentenced by Dark Iron law. Its priests continued to serve the Firelord, and its factional balance remained a delicate yet functional arrangement. The Undercity never became a forgotten relic. It persisted as a living, functioning capital of the Dark Iron Dwarves, until political power shifted to Ironforge under Moira and her future council. But even then, the depths themselves were not abandoned. They remained, carved into the stone, blazing with their own light, sustained by their own people. In the end, Blackrock Depths was not defined by the rise or fall of a single ruler. It was defined by centuries of dwarven resilience, elemental influence, and the unyielding drive to survive in a place where fire ruled. Its foundries continued to burn. Its tunnels continued to echo. Its legacy continued to shape the fate of the Dark Iron Clan, long after the last emperor fell. The story of Blackrock Depths stretches further than one lifetime, further even than the reigns of its rulers. To understand what the depths truly were and what they remain in the world's memory, one must examine not only the lives of the dwarves who dwelled within its walls, but the vast ancient contexts that shaped the Undercity's existence. Blackrock Depths was not only a dwarven stronghold, it was a fortress of elemental influence, a nexus of industrial power, and a reminder of the consequences of meddling with the primal forces of creation. The heart of all these influences can be traced to the Firelord himself. Ragnaros's dominion reached from the sulphurous chambers of the mountain's core into every corner of the depths. Though the Firelord did not dwell within the Undercity, his presence loomed above it, shaping its environment and its destiny. It was the Firelord's eruption that had carved Blackrock Mountain into its modern shape. It was his arrival that had enslaved the Dark Irons. And it was his will that infused the mountain's interior with volatile energy. The relationship between the Dark Irons and Ragnaros was not one of alliance. It was a bond of domination. After the catastrophic summoning, the survivors of the Dark Iron clan were forced into servitude under the Elemental Lord. They built their new kingdom around the core of the mountain, not because they chose to, but because they had no alternative. Ragnaros commanded their labor through his priests, and his elemental minions patrolled the upper reaches where his presence was strongest. Every Dark Iron generation was born into this structure, taught from birth that survival required obedience. Yet the dwarves were not passive. They adapted, as dwarves always have. They claimed the mountain's chambers as their own, carving the depths from raw stone and shaping them into a functional city. They harnessed the heat of the mountain without being consumed by it. They worked in temperatures that would have felled other mortal races. Their skin hardened, their culture evolved, their weapons gained a dark, radiant sheen that reflected their environment. And through these acts of endurance, they reshaped their fate, not by breaking free of the Firelord, but by mastering the life forced upon them. Thus, the depths stood as a dwarven creation in form, but one forever influenced by elemental forces. This dual nature defined its architecture. Where dwarven craftsmanship dominated, precision and structure prevailed. Archways were cut with geometrical perfection, and pillars were reinforced with metal bands to prevent collapse. Where elemental energies seeped through the stone, the walls glowed faintly, and the heat intensified to unnatural levels. These sections were not so much built as stabilized, for stone there had never cooled fully since the Firelord's arrival. The most striking feature of the depths remained its forges. The dark irons did not simply craft weapons. They refined a philosophy of fire. Their smiths became the finest masters of enchanted metal in the world. They learned to channel elemental heat directly, blending techniques learned from dwarven heritage with innovations born of necessity. Their work produced armaments infused with flame, constructs powered by arcane cores, and tools capable of withstanding extraordinary stress. Some of these constructs patrolled the depths tirelessly. Their shapes were engineered for purpose, massive golems built from stone and iron, animated through runic sequences etched into their frames. These runes, glowing with internal energy, bound elemental sparks within the constructs, allowing them to move autonomously. Their steps echoed through the corridors with heavy, deliberate resonance. They guarded restricted areas, stood sentinel in vital chambers, and served as a symbol of the dark iron's unique marriage of craftsmanship and magic. Yet, these constructs were not the only guardians of the depths. Fire elementals, spawned from magma pools or summoned through priestly rituals, drifted through certain chambers with aimless hunger. Their forms flickered with molten fluidity, shedding sparks as they moved. While they did not answer to dwarven authority, their presence represented the pervasive reach of the Firelord. They were reminders that the depths occupied a borderland between the mortal and elemental realms, places where the laws of stone met the laws of flame. It was in this borderland that the dark irons carved their everyday lives. Despite their harsh environment, they maintained social structures and traditions. Dwarven families dwelled within chambers cut specifically for living quarters, often decorated with banners representing their workforce or lineage. Children grew up learning the values of resilience, discipline, and craftsmanship. They were taught the history of their clan, the triumphs of the sorcerer Thane, the tragedies of the Civil War, the consequences of summoning the Firelord, and the unbroken lineage of the Thaurissan line. In this environment, Emperor Dagran Thaurissan came of age, ruling from a throne carved directly from obsidian. His governance was shaped by all these contexts, by the legacy of his ancestors, by the expectations of his people, by the looming presence of the Firelord, and by the ever-present memory of the War of the Three Hammers. As emperor, He oversaw industrial expansion, maintained order among the various factions, and managed delicate relations with Ragnaros's priests. His rule brought stability to the depths, if not peace. One of the defining features of Dagrun's reign was his intent to improve relations with the other dwarven clans. Whether driven by political foresight or personal conviction, his marriage to Moira Bronzebeard represented a significant step toward this aim. Moira, daughter of King Magni of Ironforge, entered the depths and bore Dagrun's child, creating an heir who united the bloodlines of two historically hostile clans. This event was not fictionalized nor embellished in canon. It was a pivotal moment in dwarven history, reshaping the political landscape. But while Moira's presence within the depths had vast implications for the future, it did not alter the day-to-day workings of the Undercity. Blackrock Depths was an environment where duties were clear and constant. Workers labored in the mines, smiths hammered in the forges, soldiers drilled in the barracks, and priests maintained their rituals. The Emperor's personal affairs affected politics, not industry. When Dagrun died, this fact did not change. The depths did not collapse. The forges did not cool. The society did not disband. Instead, the Undercity returned to its earlier form, governed by the factions that had always maintained its structural integrity. Moira, carrying Dagrun's heir, left the mountain. Her departure ended the era of Thaurissan rule from within the depths, but it did not erase the Undercity's importance. From that point forward, political leadership of the Dark Iron clan shifted away from Blackrock Depths. Moira would eventually assert her rule from Ironforge, bringing the Dark Irons into an era of shared governance among the dwarves, formalized through the Council of Three Hammers. Yet Blackrock Depths remained a functioning Dark Iron stronghold, continuing its operations independent of political shifts happening elsewhere. The Depths persisted as a major industrial center, its forges providing armaments and enchanted materials. Its engineers continued to repair and innovate machinery. Its soldiers maintained defenses around Blackrock Mountain. Its priests upheld their rituals to sustain the link to the Firelord. These roles were consistent with canonical accounts of the Undercity's structure and purpose long after Dagrun's death. Beyond the political transition, the mountain itself remained a place of extraordinary significance. Blackrock Mountain contained multiple factions throughout its layers, each contributing to the larger environment in which the depths existed. Above the Undercity lay areas controlled by different forces at different times: Dark Iron outposts, elemental enclaves, and even the upper domain where Ragnaros exerted direct influence. The depths served as the foundation for much of this activity, supporting the mountain's internal structures both physically and culturally. The relationship between the Dark Irons and their environment was never free of danger. The mountain's interior, shaped by the Firelord's presence and earlier geological upheavals, was prone to instability. Tremors occasionally shook the stone halls, dislodging dust and shifting support beams. Magma surges altered the flow of molten rivers. Elementals manifested unpredictably. The Dark Irons managed these hazards with the same pragmatism they applied to all aspects of life. Their engineering skill kept the depths functional, and their resilience kept them alive. The mines beneath the depths remained active, producing rare minerals found only in regions subjected to intense elemental influence. These ores, infused with magical attributes, were vital for forging enchanted weaponry and powering arcane devices. The miners, often prisoners or laborers bound by contract, worked under dangerous conditions. The tunnels were narrow, hot, and filled with pockets of volatile materials. Accidents were common, though the dark irons rarely spoke of them. Hardship was expected, and survival was part of the miner's identity. This culture of endurance permeated every level of the Undercity. Dark Iron dwarves were known for their stoicism, shaped by generations of labor and adversity. They found pride in their ability to withstand conditions that others could not endure. They valued strength, discipline, craft, and fire. These values were reflected in their architecture, their tools, their weapons, and their rituals. Even the Grim Guzzler, though a place of revelry, represented this resilience. Its potent brews were crafted from subterranean ingredients, fermented under extreme heat. Its music echoed off stone walls that had witnessed centuries of toil. Its patrons celebrated not escapism, but endurance. Raising their mugs to another day survived in the heat and pressure of the depths. The depths also served as a historical repository. Though the Dark Irons did not display relics in the same manner as the Bronzebeards, their architecture held memories of earlier eras. Statues carved in the likeness of ancient leaders lined certain corridors. Plaques inscribed with runic histories marked important chambers. These carvings preserved the identity of a people who had suffered loss, endured enslavement, and maintained their traditions through it all. One of the most significant such pieces was the statue of sorcerer Thane Thaurissan, positioned in areas that honored the origin of the Dark Iron Line. Though his summoning of Ragnaros had resulted in catastrophe, he remained a foundational figure. His statue depicted him in regal posture, holding a staff symbolic of his sorcerous power. To the Dark Irons, he was a tragic hero, not celebrated unconditionally, but respected for the strength and conviction he embodied. Another important relic was the binding that symbolized the pact between the Dark Irons and Ragnaros. Though no physical object represented the pact directly, the priests preserved the memory of the event through ritual implements, crafted from stone scorched during the Fire Lord's arrival. These implements served as reminders of the catastrophic power that had shaped their destiny. As years passed, Blackrock Depths remained tethered to the greater events unfolding in the world. When Moira established the Council of Three Hammers, the Dark Iron clan gained representation within Ironforge for the first time in centuries. Their culture began to spread outward from the mountain, though the Depths maintained its identity as the clan's ancestral home. Dark Iron dwarves traveled between Ironforge and Blackrock Mountain, carrying news, resources, and traditions. The Depths, while no longer the center of political authority, remained integral to their heritage. The Undercity's foundries continued producing materials essential for the clan's operations abroad. Its engineers developed new technologies that influenced dwarven craft beyond the mountain. Its priests remained connected to the elemental forces that had shaped their people's past. Even as the Dark Irons integrated with their kin, the Depths preserved the aspects of their culture forged exclusively under fire. In the modern lore of Azeroth, Blackrock Depths retains its significance. It stands as a testament to dwarven endurance and ingenuity. It embodies the dual nature of the Dark Iron clan, part creators, part survivors, shaped by fire yet unbroken by it. The Undercity remains one of the largest and most intricate dwarven constructions in history, rivaling even Ironforge in scale and complexity. Its cavernous halls and molten rivers continue to echo with the story of a people who carved a kingdom from the shadow of a catastrophe. Its foundries burn with the same heat that forged the first dark iron weapons centuries ago. Its prisons, mines, and barracks remain as stark reminders of the sacrifices made to keep the Undercity functioning. Blackrock Depths never fell. It never collapsed. It never faded into myth. It remains, a living scar of dwarven history, cut deep into the stone of Blackrock Mountain, filled with the legacy of a clan tempered by tragedy and bound by fire. The depths endured because the dark irons endured. Their story cannot be separated from the stone that encased them, nor the fire that animated the mountain's heart. Every chamber, every forge, every corridor carved through the obsidian black walls bore the marks of centuries of labor. That labor shaped not only the Undercity, but the very identity of the dwarves who lived within it. In time, the depths became a symbol, not of triumph or glory, but of survival amidst forces that sought to break them. The Dark Iron dwarves understood hardship better than most. From the moment Thaurissan's ritual brought Ragnaros into the world, their fate had been altered irreversibly. Every generation that followed carried the memory of that calamity in their bones. They inherited not only the consequences of that summoning, but also the strength to live beneath a mountain reshaped by elemental fire. The depths reflected that inheritance, tense, unyielding, carved through pressure and heat. In the centuries after Dagran's fall, the depths continued to serve as the industrial and spiritual heart of the Dark Iron clan. Even after Moira's political rise in Ironforge, and even after the formal establishment of the Council of Three Hammers, the Undercity did not diminish in significance. It remained a site of pilgrimage for Dark Irons returning to their roots, a place where the clan's identity burned brightest, and where their history remained carved in stone for all who walked its halls. Though political power shifted to Ironforge, the depths remained far from empty. Not all Dark Iron dwarves wished to leave their ancestral home. Many remained loyal to the mountain, preferring the call of the forges over the polished marble halls of Ironforge. These dwarves carried on the clan's old ways, maintaining the furnaces, drilling in the barracks, conducting rituals in the shrines to the Firelord. For these dwarves, the depths were not a relic. They were a living city. The forge masters continued to produce metalwork of unparalleled quality. Their output sustained not only the traditional needs of the clan, but contributed to the wider world as well. Their weapons, prized for durability and enchanted strength, traveled beyond the mountain through trade and conflict. The Dark Iron dwarves never ceased to refine their skills, and their innovations continued to influence the broader dwarven craft. Even though the Bronzebeards excelled in stonework and runic artistry, the Dark Irons held unmatched mastery over fire and metal. The Great Forge remained among the most significant locations within the Undercity. Its chambers glowed with the light of molten rivers channeled through carefully engineered conduits, and the roar of its furnaces could be heard from distant corridors. The forge was the Undercity's beating heart, its heat a reminder of the primordial force that governed the mountain. Here, dark iron smiths shaped blades, shields, and intricate components used in machinery. They fashioned enchanted armaments that harnessed elemental energies. The Great Forge stood as a testament to the merging of dwarven ingenuity and the mountain's innate power. Next to the Great Forge, the Hall of Crafting expanded through adjoining chambers, where engineers built and repaired mechanical constructs. The constructs, golems animated through arcane runes, played an important role in maintaining the Undercity's operations. Some patrolled corridors, acting as silent guardians. Others aided smiths by performing heavy labor. The engineers' expertise in arcane machinery represented a rare specialization within dwarven culture, and it distinguished the Dark Irons as innovators in the field of magical engineering. These constructs were not mere tools. They embodied centuries of knowledge passed down through the clan. Their forms varied. Some resembled giant humanoids forged from iron plates, while others were more abstract, shaped for specific tasks. All were animated through runes that glowed with internal power. Maintaining these constructs required constant diligence. Engineers adjusted runic configurations and replaced cores imbued with magical energy. This meticulous care ensured the construct's reliability, though occasional malfunctions reminded the dwarves that arcane forces could not be controlled without risk. In the upper reaches of the depths, the barracks continued to train dark iron soldiers. These warriors upheld the discipline for which their clan had long been known. The soldiers drilled in formations, practiced with blackened steel weapons, and learned tactics suited for fighting within confined tunnels and chambers. The environment shaped their combat style, deliberate, forceful, unforgiving. The claustrophobic nature of the Undercity taught them to strike with precision and to rely on durability over agility. Their presence remained essential in maintaining order. Though the depths no longer housed the political leadership of the clan, it remained vital to the Dark Iron's identity and operations. Guard patrols monitored entrances and critical sectors. They watched for elemental disturbances, as the mountain occasionally produced unexpected hazards. They enforced the clan's laws within the Undercity's boundaries. The overseers of the lower mines continued their work as well. These mines were carved into layers corrupted by magical flare from the Firelord's eruption. They contained veins of ore infused with elemental energies unique to the mountain. Extracting these ores was dangerous, requiring both skill and caution. Workers navigated narrow tunnels, avoided pockets of unstable rock, and remained alert for sudden shifts in heat. Though mining accidents were common, the dwarves worked with methodical precision, understanding that risk was inherent to their environment. The ore harvested from these mines sustained the forges. It also contributed to the creation of enchanted implements used in rituals. The priests of Ragnaros relied upon such materials in the crafting of ceremonial tools. Their rituals, conducted within sanctums located deeper in the mountain, maintained the spiritual connection between the Dark Irons and the Firelord. These ceremonies generated intense heat and bursts of elemental energy, illuminating the sanctums with an orange glow. Despite Moira's political leadership taking place outside the mountain, the priests continued to operate autonomously within the depths. Their reverence for the Firelord never waned. Their rituals upheld ancient traditions tied directly to the event that had forged the Dark Iron Clan's destiny. Though the clan's relationship with Ragnaros evolved over time, the elemental cult remained a foundational part of their cultural identity. The architecture of the depths preserved this identity as well. Its halls remained grand in scale, yet stark in design. Dwarven carvings adorned archways, depicting historical scenes and ancestral figures. These depictions honored the struggles of the Dark Iron Clan, reflecting their pride in the line of Thaurissan. Even in the shadow of their tragic past, statues stood as silent guardians in numerous chambers, figures carved from blackened stone, their expressions solemn. These statues commemorated leaders and heroes whose deeds, whether glorious or dark, shaped the Undercity. The royal quarters, once inhabited by Emperor Dagran, remained preserved. Though empty of political function, they served as a historical testament, a reminder of a bygone era when the Thaurissan line ruled from within the depths. The obsidian throne remained intact, its surface polished to a reflective sheen. Carvings behind the throne depicted the origins of the Dark Iron Clan, honoring both their strength and their sorrow. These quarters became quiet monuments to a lineage that now ruled from elsewhere. The deeper chambers of the Undercity connected to areas where the environment grew increasingly dangerous. Here, magma flowed closer to the surface of the stone. Pools of molten rock bubbled and roiled, casting flickering shadows across the walls. Elementals roamed freely in these regions. The dwarves navigated them with caution, recognizing that even a moment of inattention could lead to fatal encounters. These deeper regions served as buffers between the mortal-built city and the domain of Ragnaros himself, which lay even higher in the mountain. In the molten heart of Blackrock Mountain, the Firelord maintained his fiery throne, commanding legions of elementals and enforcing his will upon the mountain's structure. The Dark Irons understood the importance of respecting the boundaries between their realm and his. They fortified certain pathways, established guard posts, and crafted barriers reinforced with enchantments to control elemental access. Yet, even with these measures, incursions occurred. Flamewaker servants of Ragnaros occasionally moved through the mountain, driven by their own agendas. These creatures, humanoid in form yet composed of fire, operated under elemental motives unfathomable to dwarves. When encountered in the depths, they posed significant threats. Their presence served as a reminder that the Firelord was always near, watching from his fiery dominion. The depths, then, were not merely a dwarven undercity. They were the frontier between mortal civilization and primal flame, an environment in constant tension. This dual nature defined every aspect of the Undercity's existence. It shaped the dwarves' identity, hardened their culture, and influenced their decisions across generations. As the years progressed, the Dark Iron Dwarves found themselves navigating new political landscapes. The unification of the dwarven clans under the Council of Three Hammers brought opportunities, tensions, and challenges. Moira's role in this council symbolized the merging of traditions long separated by war. From Ironforge, she governed her people through new means, combining dark iron resilience with Bronzebeard diplomacy and Wildhammer independence. Yet even as Moira shaped the clan's future abroad, Blackrock Depths continued shaping the clan's soul at home. Many dark iron dwarves lived between two worlds, the ancestral Undercity defined by elemental fire, and the newly shared capital in Ironforge, defined by stone and unity. This duality became a hallmark of the clan's modern identity. Some dark irons moved to Ironforge, contributing their craft and strength to the United City. They established new forges there, adapting their techniques to environments not saturated with elemental heat. Others remained in Blackrock Mountain, maintaining the old ways. They oversaw the forges, protected the Undercity, and preserved traditions unique to their homeland. These dwarves ensured that the depths did not fade into obscurity. Thus, Blackrock Depths evolved from a place of exile and servitude into a symbol of heritage. The catastrophes that had once defined it became the foundation for a new identity, one forged in adversity, but not broken by it. Even after Ragnaros' second banishment from Azeroth, the Depths retained its importance, housing the dark iron dwarves who continued their craft and traditions deep within the mountain. The Undercity's legacy endures not in political dominance, but in cultural memory. Its halls remain carved with the stories of a people who endured catastrophe, servitude, and isolation. Its forges still burn as reminders of the clan's unmatched mastery of metal. Its priests, though changed by the shifting tides of elemental politics, keep ancient rites alive. Its soldiers continue to drill in its barracks, preserving the discipline that once formed the backbone of Dagran's reign. Blackrock Depths is not a tale of conquest. It is a tale of endurance, not a story of glory, a story of survival, a chronicle of a people who built their world beneath molten stone and refused to let despair extinguish them. Blackrock Depths has always stood as a monument to dwarven persistence. Its story stretches across centuries, rooted in the volcanic wound created by Ragnaros' violent return to Azeroth. To walk its halls is to walk through living memory, the echoes of hammer strikes from ages past, the hum of elemental heat beneath the stone, the silent watch of statues carved from blackened rock. Every corner holds the weight of a clan that shaped itself through toil and flame. Understanding the depths requires understanding the fundamental truth that shaped the dark iron dwarves. They did not choose their home. The mountain chose them. Or rather, Ragnaros claimed them. When sorcerer Thane Thaurissan tore open the veil and brought the Firelord into the world, the resulting explosion reshaped not only the landscape, but the destiny of the entire clan. Those who survived the elemental's emergence found themselves bound by a power far older than their lineage. Under the Firelord's dominance, they carved their new kingdom beneath Blackrock Mountain. In those earliest years, the depths were a refuge in the only sense the dwarves understood. Shelter from elemental wrath, sanctuary from the molten chaos left in the mountain's interior. As they expanded the city, they learned to navigate a world where heat was constant. Stone shifted unpredictably, and elemental forces seeped through cracks in the earth. Every hall became a compromise between dwarven design and the reality of living in the aftermath of a catastrophe. The forges that formed the lifeblood of the city were born from necessity. The dark irons learned quickly that the magma rivers flowing through the mountain could be harnessed, directed, and tamed, at least to a degree. They built channels to guide the molten rock through the Undercity, creating natural furnaces capable of heating metal beyond the limits possible in other dwarven cities. The heat became a resource rather than a threat. The Dark Irons learned to live with it, shaping tools and armor that captured the essence of fire. This mastery became their legacy. Their weapons were renowned for their durability and dark gleam, stronger in some ways than any forged above ground. Many of their armaments found use in conflicts across Azeroth, carried by mercenaries, treasure hunters, and warriors who valued the unique resilience of dark iron craftsmanship. The forges of Blackrock Depths became famed for producing enchanted implements, objects infused with elemental fire, capable of channeling energies beyond normal steel. The foundry was the heart of this industry. Navigating its platforms meant feeling the constant tremor of machinery and the oppressive glow of molten metal. The air shimmered with heat that danced across the stone, distorting vision. Workers moved with practiced efficiency, their skin hardened by the constant proximity to flame. The foundry's output sustained the needs of the entire Undercity, shaping everything from weaponry to architectural reinforcements. Beyond the foundry lay the Dark Iron Barracks. Their strict design reflected the discipline of the soldiers who trained there. Rows of weapon racks lined the walls, each holding black steel blades and heavy shields reinforced with fiery enchantments. In the training yards, dwarves drilled in formations suited for fighting in the confined quarters of the mountain. Their movements were sharp, deliberate, and calculated. They fought not only to uphold order, but to defend themselves against the many dangers that lurked in the deeper reaches of the depths. The prison complex represented another vital element of the Undercity. Positioned near the lower mines, it held criminals, dissidents, and those unfortunate enough to fall afoul of dark iron law. Canon lore notes that dark iron punishment was severe, reflecting both necessity and the harshness of their environment. Those condemned to the mines faced grueling labor, carving their way through ore veins infused with ancient magical residue. The mines were treacherous, veins of unstable rock, sudden surges of heat, and the occasional appearance of fire elementals made every shift perilous. Yet the dwarves pressed on, understanding that the survival of their city depended on their willingness to work in dangerous conditions. The lower levels of the depths also housed ancient constructs, golems built by the dwarves to supplement their workforce and guard important areas. These constructs varied in size and purpose. Some were designed merely to lift heavy loads, while others operated as sentinels, equipped with elemental cores that granted them strength beyond any mortal soldier. They patrolled hallways with mechanical precision, their footsteps echoing through the stone. Each construct represented centuries of dwarven knowledge, blending traditional craftsmanship with arcane engineering. Beyond these structured levels, the depths descended into chambers where dwarven design gave way to elemental chaos. Here, the temperature rose sharply. Lava pooled in deep basins, glowing brighter than the torches that lit the upper corridors. Elemental manifestations flickered along the cavern walls. Fire elementals, drawn to areas of intense heat, roamed these regions freely. While the Dark Irons did their best to confine these beings, their presence was an inevitable part of living near the Firelord's domain. This proximity to elemental beings also gave rise to the priesthood of Ragnaros, a group whose influence waxed and waned across different eras of dark iron history. Canon lore establishes these priests as figures who served as conduits for the Firelord's will. They oversaw religious ceremonies, maintained the rites that bound the dwarves to their elemental master, and interpreted the fluctuations of the mountain as signs or warnings. Their sanctums were placed in areas where the fire was strongest, often lit by magma rather than torchlight. The priests' voices echoed in rhythmic chants that filled the chambers with an almost hypnotic cadence. These priests preserved memories of the original summoning, though not with reverence. Their rituals were reminders of the power that shaped the clan, serving as both tribute and caution. They maintained the artifacts associated with that ancient catastrophe, objects forged in the blast of Ragnaros' arrival, used in ceremonies that reinforced the clan's connection to elemental fire. While political power shifted over time, the priesthood remained influential, especially in the depths where Ragnaros' presence was felt most strongly. In contrast, the engineers of the Hall of Crafting represented the dwarven push toward innovation. Their creations were not tied to spiritual belief, but to practicality and advancement. They studied the mechanical constructs used throughout the city, improving their designs and expanding their applications. They worked on mechanisms that regulated forge temperatures, reinforced structural supports, and operated ventilation systems to manage the intense heat. Their role was crucial, for without their expertise, the depths would have been uninhabitable. Despite the complexity of these systems, the dwarves maintained a unified approach to their work. Every task, from smithing to engineering to ritual performance, was carried out with diligence and pride. This sense of duty was inherent to their culture. It allowed them to thrive in a place defined by fire and pressure. The architecture of the depths reflected this unity. Its halls were carved with precision, reinforced by iron bands and runic inscriptions. These runes offered both structural support and magical stability, preventing collapses and mitigating elemental surges. The dwarves understood their environment well and built with foresight. Doorways were constructed narrower than those of other dwarven cities to contain potential explosions. Chambers were arranged in ways that facilitated airflow, managing heat distribution across the Undercity. One of the most iconic features of the depths remained the molten span, a bridge extending over a river of magma. This crossing symbolized the perilous existence of the dark irons. Standing upon its stone surface, one could feel the heat radiating upward, a reminder of the elemental core that shaped the mountain. The span connected essential sections of the depths and served as a thoroughfare for workers, soldiers, and priests. Its construction required extraordinary skill, relying on materials resistant to extreme temperatures. The depths also contained numerous areas serving administrative and ceremonial functions. The Hall of Law, for instance, was where judgments were passed and legal disputes resolved. The dwarves placed great value on order, understanding that chaos within the Undercity could prove fatal. Their legal system was strict, shaped by necessity. Without structure, the city would falter. The royal quarters, though no longer inhabited by ruling leaders after Daegran's death, remained preserved. These chambers reflected the status of the Thaurissan line. Their walls were adorned with carvings, illustrating the history of the dark irons, their rise, their fall, their servitude, and their endurance. These carvings did not avoid the clan's darkest moments. Instead, they depicted them with unflinching honesty, honoring the resilience that allowed the dwarves to survive catastrophe. Dagran Thaurissan's death marked the end of an era. Yet canon lore clarifies that the depths did not crumble as a result. The Undercity continued under its existing systems, guided by the combined influence of its factions. The Firelord maintained his presence in the mountain until his eventual banishment, but the dwarves did not abandon their home. Instead, they adapted to the changing circumstances. Moira Bronzebeard, after her return to Ironforge, asserted her leadership over the Dark Iron Clan. Her role in the Council of Three Hammers brought unprecedented political unity to the dwarven race. Through her, the Dark Irons gained a voice in the governance of Ironforge, something unimaginable during the days when the clans warred against one another. Though Moira ruled from the mountain city of Ironforge, her people remained deeply connected to Blackrock Depths. The Dark Iron dwarves who stayed in the depths continued their craft, expanding their influence through trade and cooperation. They maintained their traditions with pride, honoring both their heritage and the new political landscape shaped by Moira's leadership. Those who traveled to Ironforge carried their clan's customs with them, spreading knowledge of fire forging and magical engineering. Still, the depths remained the ancestral heart of the Dark Irons. It was here that their identity burned brightest. It was here that their culture thrived without dilution, and it was here that the echoes of their tumultuous past lingered most palpably. Walking through the depths meant confronting the stark juxtaposition of dwarven fortitude and elemental dominance. The air was heavy with heat and the scent of mineral dust. The walls hummed with a deep, vibrational energy. Every structure bore the marks of careful planning, reinforced against both the mountain's shifting pressures and the unpredictable influence of elemental fire. The dwarves living there were shaped by their environment, stern, resilient, hardened by adversity. In the years following Ragnaros's second banishment from Azeroth, the depths remained active but evolved. Without the Firelord's immediate influence, the elemental presence within the deeper chambers diminished. Pools of molten rock still glowed with heat, but the intense fluctuations caused by Ragnaros's will subsided. The environment became marginally more stable, though never truly safe. The priesthood adapted to these changes. Their rituals, once focused on appeasing and interpreting the Firelord, shifted to preserving the clan's traditions and maintaining the elemental energies that remained. Fire, for the Dark Irons, was not merely destructive. It symbolized endurance and strength. The priests continued to honor this heritage even after their elemental master no longer resided in the mountain. Engineers took advantage of the newfound stability, expanding certain sections of the Undercity. They improved ventilation systems, repaired ancient machinery, and reinforced structures weakened during years of elemental volatility. Though these efforts did not fundamentally alter the depths, they ensured its continued viability as a functioning city. Blackrock Depths remains, to this day, one of the largest and most intricate underground cities ever built by dwarven hands. Its architecture stretches across vast chambers and winding corridors, reaching deep into the mountain's roots. Its forges still burn, maintained by dwarves who inherited centuries of craftsmanship. Its mines still yield rare materials unique to the mountain's geological history. Its statues and carvings preserve the memory of the clan's struggles and triumphs. The Undercity stands as a living museum, one not preserved in silence, but kept alive through continued use. Each forge lit, each weapon crafted, each rune etched into metal continues the legacy of a people forged in tragedy. The depths are not ruins, they are a home, a crucible, a reminder of what happens when ambition brushes against forces far older and more powerful than mortal comprehension. In its stone, the mountain remembers everything. Blackrock Depths is often spoken of with dread, but its true nature is far more complex than a simple underworld. It is a layered record of dwarven history shaped by disaster, domination, defiance, and endurance. Its halls do not belong to a single era. They span multiple ages, each one carving fresh purpose into the stone. Those who study the depths understand that it evolved not through design, but through necessity. Every chamber served a function. Every forge preserved a craft. Every corridor carried memory. As the years after Ragnaros' second banishment passed, the depths did not diminish. Though the elemental fury that once radiated through the mountain finally waned, the city did not fall silent. It remained active, filled with generations of dark iron dwarves who continued the work of their ancestors. They walked the same halls carved centuries earlier. They tended the same forges. They watched over the same mines, repaired the same constructs, and navigated the same balance between craftsmanship and elemental danger. The mountain's interior remained volatile by nature. Blackrock Mountain had long been a place of geological upheaval, even before Thaurissan's ritual reshaped it. The explosion that brought forth Ragnaros created layers of stone, warped by extreme heat, fissures snaking through once solid chambers, and magma flows that surged unpredictably. With the Firelord gone, some sections cooled slightly, but the mountain never lost its primordial instability. The dark irons adapted as they always had, through ingenuity and discipline. In this adaptation, the dwarves did not merely survive, they advanced. As elemental interference decreased, engineers found new opportunities to repair and enhance the Undercity's infrastructure. Ventilation systems once strained beneath the Firelord's influence now operated with greater efficiency. Machinery that had long suffered under fluctuating energies stabilized. Structural supports no longer contended with Ragnaros' periodic surges of power. Though life within the depths remained harsh, certain tasks became less perilous. Yet, even with the absence of Ragnaros, the mountain was never fully tamed. The primordial fire that fueled its heart remained ancient and unpredictable. Its heat was not the will of a lord, but the natural force of the world itself. The deeper caverns continued to glow with molten veins. Elemental forms occasionally emerged, not flame wakers tethered to Ragnaros, but lesser manifestations born from raw heat. These elementals lacked the intelligence or purpose of their former kin, but still posed risks. The dark irons dealt with them swiftly, understanding that the mountain's dangers could never be eradicated completely. Despite these hazards, the forges continued to operate at full strength. Fire, after all, was the lifeblood of the clan. Blackrock Depths remained a symbol of mastery over flame, one built through generations of knowledge, not conquest. The smiths maintained their reputation as unparalleled artisans of enchanted metal. Their anvils rang with the same rhythmic precision that had been heard for centuries. Their furnaces glowed with an unbroken lineage of craft. They shaped black iron into blades, armor, and mechanical components. Their expertise remained unmatched, drawing upon both the harshness of their environment and the meticulous traditions passed down from master to apprentice. The Great Forge stood at the center of this tradition. Its massive structure remained a testament to the clan's ability to transform elemental fury into creation. Even without the Firelord's direct presence, the forge remained scorching and powerful, its magma channels still connected to molten rock older than recorded history. The dwarves who worked here were among the most skilled in the clan. Their work required precision not merely in craft, but in surviving the extreme heat that radiated from every surface. Near the forge, the Hall of Crafting continued to serve as a sanctuary of innovation. Engineers and artisans collaborated here on designs that represented the future of dark iron engineering. Mechanical constructs were repaired, upgraded, and sometimes redesigned entirely. Arcane cores were recalibrated. New runic patterns were devised to improve construct stability. The engineers took advantage of the mountain's marginally calmer energies to refine their craft. These innovations influenced not only life within the depths, but also dark iron contributions to Ironforge and the united Dwarven society. Even the grim guzzler remained unchanged in essence. The tavern, situated deep within the Undercity, continued to serve as a rare space of reprieve. Dark irons gathered there after long shifts in the forges or mines, sharing stories, drinking potent brews, and participating in the occasional tavern brawl, a tradition nearly as old as the depths themselves. Though its walls had witnessed countless conflicts and celebrations, the tavern remained as lively as ever, keeping Dwarven culture rooted in camaraderie even amidst adversity. But the Undercity's most defining features remained its mines and prisons, areas where the dual nature of the depths was most evident. The mines extended far beneath the city, following ore veins twisted by centuries of elemental influence. The minerals harvested there were essential for forging enchanted metal. Dark iron miners worked tirelessly, knowing that their labor sustained the entire kingdom. The dangers of the mines remained severe. Unpredictable collapses, bursts of heat, pockets of unstable energy, and elemental manifestations. Mining was not a profession for the faint-hearted, yet the dwarves who undertook this work did so with diligence and pride. The prison complex, carved near the mines, served as a stark reminder of the clan's strict adherence to order. Dark iron law had always been severe, shaped by the necessity of surviving in such an unforgiving environment. Crimes within the depths were not merely offenses against individuals. They were threats to the stability of the entire Undercity. For this reason, punishments were swift and often involved labor within the mines. Discipline ensured order. Order ensured survival. The Deep Guard, soldiers assigned to patrol the lower levels, maintained a constant presence in these regions. They enforced law, protected workers, and responded to geological disturbances. Their training, shaped by generations of experience navigating the mountain's dangers, made them some of the most hardened dwarves in the clan. They understood the mines better than anyone, recognizing the subtle shifts in stone that signaled impending danger. Their watchful presence prevented countless accidents, and their resilience made them indispensable to the Undercity. Above the mines, elemental chambers marked the transition between mortal architecture and elemental terrain. These chambers glowed with internal heat, their walls illuminated by veins of molten rock. Here, fire elementals roamed freely, their forms influenced not by Ragnaros's will, but by the natural forces of the mountain. These elementals posed a persistent threat, and the dwarves constructed reinforced barriers and patrol routes to contain them. The presence of these beings reminded the Dark Irons that they lived atop a fissure between worlds, a place where safety was relative and vigilance a necessity. Beyond the immediate structure of the depths, the surrounding layers of Blackrock Mountain remained equally significant. Though the Firelord no longer held his throne within the mountain, the scars of his influence endured. Many upper chambers still bore marks of his presence: blackened stone, scorched metal, and lingering elemental energies. Dark, iron outposts in these regions continued to function, though altered by the absence of their former overlord. Without the Firelord's dominion, these outposts shifted their focus toward protecting their territory and maintaining control over the mountain's passages. Some of these upper stations connected directly to the paths leading toward Blackrock Spire and its surrounding strongholds, all part of the larger network of structures built within the hollow mountain. The depths remained the most extensive anchor of this network, its infrastructure supporting the broader presence of the Dark Iron clan in the region. Engineers from the depths assisted in maintaining these connections. Soldiers stationed there reported back to commanders within the Undercity. Supplies flowed upward from the depths to outposts and downward from the mines to the forges. Through all these layers, one constant remained. The mountain was alive, not in a literal sense, but in the sense that its stone carried the memory of ancient events. The dwarves who lived within it felt this memory. They sensed it in the heat beneath their boots. They heard it in the distant rumbling of shifting magma. They saw it in the way the walls glowed faintly, as though illuminated by embers trapped in stone. This memory was not simply geological, it was historical. Blackrock Depths was a chronicle carved into the mountain itself. Its structures told the story of the clan's transition from ambitious summoners to enslaved survivors, from isolated laborers to contributing members of a unified dwarven nation. The depths stood as evidence of a people who refused to break despite overwhelming force. The dwarves honored this history. They preserved carvings depicting the catastrophic summoning. They maintained statues representing ancient leaders. They upheld traditions that kept their culture alive, even as they integrated into Ironforge and contributed to the Council of Three Hammers. These traditions included rituals honoring both dwarven ancestors and the elemental forces that shaped their destiny. Though the Firelord no longer dictated their fate, the Dark Irons did not reject the role that elemental fire played in their identity. They embraced it, not as subjugation, but as heritage. This acceptance marked a new chapter in the clan's story. They were no longer defined solely by the tragedy of the summoning. They were defined by the resilience that followed. In time, visitors from Ironforge and other regions of Azeroth came to view the depths with awe. The scale of the Undercity surpassed expectations. Its craftsmanship rivaled that of any dwarven hall. Its grand chambers, illuminated by the glow of molten rock, created an atmosphere both intimidating and magnificent. Scholars of dwarven history recognize the depths as one of the most impressive subterranean feats in dwarven culture, despite the circumstances that forced its construction. Though the depths remained dangerous for Bijigikwan outsiders, they grew to be seen not merely as a bastion of fire and conflict, but as an essential part of dwarven civilization. They represented the endurance of a clan that had suffered greatly yet rose to contribute to the larger world. The Dark Irons who dwelled there continued to refine their craft, uphold their traditions, and preserve the memory of their ancestors. The mountain's shadow no longer represented fear. It represented strength. The depths continued to breathe, slow, heavy breaths echoing through its halls. Heat flowed through its veins. Its chambers remained alive with the sounds of labor, ritual, and discipline. The legacy of the dark iron dwarves lived on in every carved archway, every forge fire, every rune etched into metal. Blackrock Depths stands today as it has stood for generations, a city forged in disaster, strengthened by fire, sustained by resolve, built not for glory, but for survival. A reminder that even in the deepest dark, fire endures. Blackrock Depths persists as one of the most enduring testaments to dwarven capability in all of Azeroth. Its long, winding corridors form a labyrinth that mirrors the labyrinth of history that shaped the Dark Iron Clan. To walk deeper into the Undercity is to move backward in time, descending into older layers of stone lined with the soot of centuries, where elemental heat pulses like a buried heartbeat. Here, history is not merely remembered, it is lived. The earliest sections of Blackrock Depths, built shortly after Ragnaros' arrival, retain a rawness to their construction. These chambers were carved in haste by a people reeling from catastrophe, struggling to rebuild under unbearable conditions. Their walls are uneven, their supports thicker, their runes simpler. The dwarves needed stability more than beauty. Stone was cut with the single purpose of survival. These first halls formed the foundation of all later expansions, and they remain as monuments to the clan's earliest struggle. As the years advanced, the dwarves refined their methods. Later chambers reflect a level of precision unrivaled by any other subterranean construction, save perhaps Ironforge itself. The arches grew more symmetrical, the runes more intricate, the supports more elegantly reinforced. Each generation left its mark on the depths, creating layers of craftsmanship that tell a silent story. A story of evolving skill, shifting priorities, and expanding knowledge. But even as the architecture improved, the environment remained harsh. Fires burned perpetually. Magma flows hummed beneath the floors. The stone radiated heat that seeped into every chamber. These conditions shaped not only the architecture, but the dwarves themselves. Their skin darkened from constant exposure to heat and mineral-rich air. Their eyes adapted to dim, ruddy light. Their bodies grew resilient, hardened by generations of life in an environment few other races could tolerate. Yet the dwarves did not merely endure the fire, they mastered it. Their ability to wield elemental heat as a tool became the defining trait of their craft. Nowhere is this mastery more evident than in the Great Forge. Standing within its chamber is to stand in the very heart of the depths, surrounded by molten brilliance. Channels of magma flow with deliberate precision, guided by carefully placed barriers and reinforced conduits. The heat here is staggering, even for a dark iron dwarf, yet the smiths move with practiced ease. Their hammers rise and fall in steady rhythm, striking metal that glows white-hot. Sparks leap like tiny comets, swirling in the heated air before vanishing. The dwarves speak little as they work, for the roar of the forge drowns out most sounds. Communication is done through gestures, a subtle language developed over generations. Every movement is precise, every strike deliberate. The Great Forge is not simply a workshop, it is a living ritual of craft. Beyond the forge lies another chamber of particular importance, the Hall of Crafting. Here, the dwarves' mechanical genius takes shape. Constructs stand in various stages of assembly, towering figures of stone and metal powered by arcane energy. Engineers calibrate runes, refine mechanisms, and study the interplay between magic and machinery. These creations serve many roles: laborers, guardians, assistants in the more dangerous sections of the depths. The construct's runic cores glow faintly even when dormant, a reminder that they are more than mere machines. They embody the dwarves' ability to fuse tradition with innovation, craftsmanship with arcane knowledge. Many of these constructs operate autonomously, following commands inscribed into their cores. Others respond to spoken runes issued by their engineers. Their presence allows the dwarves to extend their reach into areas too hazardous for mortal hands. Still deeper lies the heart of the clan's spiritual life, the sanctums of the Firelord's priests. These chambers are carved from stone, so scorched that it has turned a deep obsidian black, almost glassy in places. Magma pools provide illumination, casting wavering orange light across the walls. The air here is thicker, carrying a faint tang of sulfur. It is an atmosphere shaped not by engineering, but by elemental influence. The priests, shrouded in robes the color of smoldering embers, tend to ancient rites passed down since the time of Thaurissan. Their rituals connect the clan to the elemental force that shaped their destiny. Even after Ragnaros's banishment, these rites endure. The priests no longer serve the will of an active elemental lord, but they preserve the traditions that define their heritage. Fire, to the dark irons, is not merely a destructive force. It is symbolic of renewal, endurance, and transformation. Their ceremonies honor these aspects, acknowledging the fire that shaped their past and fortified their identity. Within these sanctums are relics forged from stone, scorched during the Firelord's original eruption. These relics, though inert, hold deep cultural significance. They symbolize the clan's pact with the Firelord, a pact made not willingly, but unavoidably. The relics serve as reminders of both the tragedy and the strength that arose from that moment. The priests treat them with care, ensuring that the memories of their ancestors never fade. Traveling through the depths, one eventually reaches the royal quarter, now silent, but still intact. These chambers reflect a blend of dark iron craftsmanship and regal austerity. The throne sits upon a raised dais, carved from obsidian polished to mirror brightness. Intertwined serpentine patterns run along its arms and back, representing the burden and authority carried by the Thaurissan line. Behind the throne lies one of the most detailed carvings in the Undercity, a depiction of the clan's origins. It shows sorcerer Thane Thaurissan standing before a towering wall of fire, staff raised as the earth splits beneath him. Surrounding him are dwarven figures, some recoiling in fear, others raising their weapons. This carving portrays the summoning of Ragnaros, not as a triumphant moment, but as a grave and pivotal one. The dwarves did not sanitize their history. They represented it truthfully, honoring both the triumphs and the tragedies that defined their identity. Further along the royal quarter, chambers once lived in by Dagran and Moira remain preserved. Their contents are unchanged: maps of dwarven territories, records of clan proceedings, ledgers of forges and mines, and artifacts inherited from earlier emperors. Moira's presence, though brief in the depths, left behind few physical traces, yet her influence on dwarven history was immense. The child she bore, Dagran II, would one day rule the Dark Irons from Ironforge, not from the depths, but the Undercity remained his ancestral seat. Leaving the royal chambers, the path descends toward the lower prison complex. These corridors are narrow and reinforced with heavy iron bars. Lanterns cast uneven shadows across the stone, giving the impression of movement where none exists. The prison cells house offenders whose crimes threaten the stability of the Undercity. In a place as unforgiving as the depths, order is paramount. The dwarves cannot afford disruption, for even minor chaos could prove deadly in such an environment. Punishment here is not driven by cruelty, but by necessity. Beyond the cells lies the entrance to the lower mines, an expanse carved through layers of stone, warped by elemental influence. The air grows hotter, thicker. Dim crystals embedded in the walls provide faint light, though the glow of magma is often sufficient. The stone floors are uneven, shaped more by natural forces than by dwarven tools. Here, miners work tirelessly, extracting ore required to sustain the forges above. These mines hold materials found nowhere else, minerals infused with elemental fire, their surfaces flickering as though burning internally. Such ore is prized for crafting enchanted weapons and components for constructs. Its extraction, however, is treacherous. Veins can collapse without warning. Magma can breach walls unexpectedly. Fire elementals may emerge unprovoked, attacking anything in sight. The dwarves accept these risks as inherent to their labor. The deeper one moves into the depths, the more apparent the elemental residue becomes. Stone grows warmer, almost hot enough to burn. Veins of glowing magma trace twisting patterns along the walls. Steam escapes through cracks with sharp hisses. Here, the divide between mortal stonework and elemental terrain thins. These regions lie closest to the domain Ragnaros once held within the mountain. In these deep chambers, the dwarves maintain reinforced barriers and patrol routes to contain threats. Golems and soldiers cooperate to secure the paths, ensuring that elemental intrusions do not reach the inhabited sections of the Undercity. Even without the Firelord's active presence, the mountain's heat gives rise to elemental manifestations. These beings are unpredictable, less intelligent than flame wakers, but equally dangerous. The dwarves approach them with caution, relying on centuries of practical knowledge. Despite the dangers and the heat that presses constantly against the skin, The depths remains inhabited, thriving even within its adversity. Over time, the Undercity became a center not only of dark iron craft, but of dwarven culture more broadly. As dark iron dwarves integrated into Iron Forge's society through the Council of Three Hammers, they brought with them new skills, new perspectives, and new traditions. Their contributions enriched the dwarven race, expanding its culture beyond the boundaries that once separated the clans. Though the political heart of the Dark Iron clan moved to Iron Forge, many dwarves returned to the depths to maintain their ancestral home. They tended the forges, repaired the constructs, upheld the rituals, and passed traditions to new generations. They understood that the depths was not merely a place where their ancestors had been forced to live. It was the crucible that forged the clan's identity. Leaving it behind entirely would mean abandoning the history that shaped them. So the depths remained alive. Its forges continued to burn. Its mines continued to yield rare ore. Its priests continued their rites. Its engineers continued their innovations. Its soldiers continued their drills. The Undercity remained a cornerstone of dwarven civilization, a place where the legacy of endurance was honored in flame and stone. And as the clans united under the Council of Three Hammers, the depths stood as a reminder, visible only to those who made the long journey into the mountain, of a past that shaped the future. The Dark Irons did not erase their scars. They embraced them. Their history was written not in parchment, but in molten rivers and obsidian walls. To walk through Blackrock Depths today is to feel the weight of this history. The air still hums with elemental heat, the forges still ring with hammer strikes, the carved runes still glow faintly with ancestral magic. The statues of ancient leaders still stand silent vigil. Every stone in the Undercity carries the memory of fire and toil. The depths endure because the Dark Irons endure. Their story is not one of downfall, but of transformation, not of destruction, but of creation, not of ruin, but of resilience. Blackrock Depths is often spoken of as a single place, but to those who know its true breadth, it is understood instead as a vast system, an entire world below the mountain. It is a city, a forge, a fortress, a mine, a temple, and a crucible. It embodies all the contradictions of the Dark Iron dwarves, their brilliance and their burdens, their resilience and their scars. Its chambers flow into one another like veins, circulating heat and history through the mountain's interior. To continue deeper into the story is to follow these veins further, tracing the evolution of the depths through the changing eras of Azeroth's history. With Ragnaros gone, the mountain did not fall dormant. The fire remained, the heat persisted, and the dwarves continued to shape their environment with unbroken discipline. The middle layers of the depths reveal the height of Dark Iron craftsmanship. Here, engineering ingenuity reached its peak. The dwarves built mechanisms that harnessed geothermal pressure, allowing them to operate devices impossible in cooler climates. Pipes lined the walls, carrying steam and molten materials. Valves controlled the flow of heat. Lever systems and rotating mechanisms powered massive doors, lifts, and platforms. Much of this was the work of the Hall of Crafting's engineers. They spent generations refining these systems, ensuring the Undercity remained habitable despite the mountain's constant volatility. Their work allowed the dwarves to operate the Great Forge at scale, regulate temperatures in critical chambers, and maintain structural integrity throughout the depths. These engineers also maintained one of the Undercity's most distinctive achievements, the dark iron golems. The golems were not merely guardians, they were essential components of the city's survival. Their towering forms, crafted from blackened stone and reinforced with intricate runic inscriptions, bore weights that would crush mortal laborers. They hauled ore from mines, carried materials to the forges, guarded entrances to dangerous areas, and responded to threats without hesitation or fatigue. Each golem embodied centuries of knowledge. Their cores, constructed from enchanted stone infused with elemental residue, held the arcane spark that animated them. Engineers performed regular inspections, adjusting runes to stabilize their internal energies. When a golem malfunctioned, engineers would carefully shut it down before conducting repairs, a process requiring precision and deep understanding of runic language. These constructs were not immune to the mountain's dangers. Magma surges could destabilize their cores. Elemental interference could disrupt their programming. Yet the dwarves persevered, continually improving their designs. The presence of these constructs allowed the depths to function far more efficiently than it could have with mortal labor alone. In the chambers adjacent to the Hall of Crafting, machinery hummed constantly. Large gears rotated, driving conveyor systems that transported materials. Heat-resistant trolleys moved between furnace platforms. Lift mechanisms transported workers and supplies across vertical shafts. This network of machines created a rhythm felt throughout the Undercity, a pulse as vital as the magma flows. The dwarves who worked here developed a unique awareness of the environment. They could sense when a mechanism was slightly misaligned simply by the change in vibration underfoot. They could hear when pressure was building in one of the pipes long before any whistle signaled danger. Their attunement to craft and environment allowed them to avert countless disasters. Not far from these engineering marvels lay the deeper foundries, places where the dwarves forged their most powerful enchanted items. These foundries required extreme heat, often positioned near natural magma chambers. Special channels directed molten rock directly into smelting vats. Smiths tended these vats with tools crafted from heat-resistant alloys, known only to dark iron artisans. The foundries produced materials essential for both warfare and infrastructure: enchanted metal for weapons, reinforced plates for golems, specialized gears for machinery. They also forged components used in dwarven devices across Ironforge and other regions. Though the Dark Irons once had a reputation as outcasts, their integration into greater dwarven society expanded the reach of their craft. Ironforge engineers learned to incorporate dark iron innovations into their own work. Steamworks, forges, and power systems across Modan benefited from dark iron enhancements. This exchange represented a new era, a merging of clans once sundered by war. Yet, even as the Dark Irons influenced the outside world, Blackrock Depths remained the spiritual and industrial core of their culture. Its traditions continued unchanged. The priests of Ragnaros carried out rituals that honored the fire's symbolic role. The smiths upheld methods that traced back to the earliest days of the Undercity. The engineers preserved designs that had evolved over centuries. And deeper still lay the mines, the lifeblood of the depths. The mines stretched far beneath the city, carved through layers of stone shaped by ancient cataclysm. These tunnels held minerals, infused with elemental fire, their surfaces glowing faintly. The dwarves extracted these minerals with precision, knowing their value for forging enchanted steel. Miners wielded tools reinforced with dark iron alloys, designed to withstand the intense heat. Work in the mines demanded relentless focus. A single misstep could trigger a collapse. Striking the wrong vein could release pockets of volatile gases. Sometimes, the stone shifted unpredictably due to ancient stresses in the mountain. Miners learned to listen to the stone, recognizing subtle signs of danger. This intuition became part of the clan's heritage, passed down from parent to child through quiet instruction. The mines also housed remnants of deeper forces, the residues of Ragnaros' presence. Elementals occasionally manifested in flickers of flame along the walls. These beings did not exhibit the intelligence or coordination of the Firelord's former servants, but their presence served as a reminder of the mountain's elemental nature. Miners responded to such threats with practiced caution, retreating until soldiers or constructs could secure the area. Beyond the mines, the deepest caverns connected indirectly to the regions where Ragnaros once held dominion. Though he no longer resided there, the imprint of his presence endured. The stone remained scorched. The air remained heavy with ancient heat. Pools of molten rock glowed with internal light. These chambers were not suitable for habitation, but they played an important symbolic role. They represented the origins not only of the depths, but of the Dark Iron Clan itself. These deeper caverns were the closest physical reminder of the disaster that reshaped dwarven history. Every Dark Iron dwarf understood the significance of this proximity. They did not avoid these chambers, they respected them. Engineers and priests alike monitored these areas for signs of instability. The dwarves recognized that even without the Firelord, the mountain demanded respect. In the heart of the Undercity, the grim guzzler continued to serve as a cultural anchor. This tavern provided respite from the constant demands of labor and discipline. Its stone floors were worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. Its tables bore the marks of countless mugs and weapons. Its walls were adorned with relics of past ages, tools, shields, and trophies collected from various regions of the depths. The tavern's drinks remained potent, crafted from subterranean ingredients that grew in the heat and humidity of the mountain. Dark iron brews were known to be strong enough to unsettle even seasoned bronzebeard drinkers. The dwarves drank after long shifts, sharing stories of past generations and feats of endurance. The grim guzzler fostered camaraderie in a city where danger lurked beyond every corner. Above this lively hall lay the richly carved chambers where the Thaurissan line once presided. These royal quarters remained intact, preserved as historical space. They served as a reminder of the era when the Dark Irons lived under the sole authority of emperors. Now, with Daegran's heir ruling from Ironforge under a council that united the clans, the quarters became symbolic rather than political. The dwarves did not repurpose these chambers. They honored them as relics, spaces frozen in time, reflecting a lineage that shaped the clan's modern identity. The throne room, in particular, remained untouched. Its obsidian seat, its runic carvings, its polished floor, all preserved in memory of an era marked by both tragedy and aspiration. The depths also preserved symbols of earlier ages, statues of ancient leaders, some bearing the stern expressions of warriors, others the contemplative poses of scholars, lined certain corridors. Runes etched into the stone recorded key events in the clan's history. These runes were not exaggerated or embellished. They presented the clan's triumphs and failures with equal clarity. Visitors who study these carvings find a narrative of endurance. They depict the War of the Three Hammers, the fall of Modgud, the flight of the Dark Irons into the Red Ridge Mountains, the cataclysmic summoning of Ragnaros, the construction of the Depths, the rise of the Thaurissan dynasty, the capture of Moira, the birth of Dagran II, and the eventual unification of the dwarven clans. This narrative is carved not just in stone, but in culture. The dark iron dwarves carry the memory of these events within themselves. Their identity is rooted in the fire they endured. Their pride lies not in avoiding hardship, but in surviving it. Their heritage is woven from fire, steel, and stone. Even now, as generations pass and circumstances shift, Blackrock Depths remains integral to this identity. The dwarves who dwell within its halls uphold traditions older than Ironforge's modern politics. They pass down knowledge that cannot be learned anywhere else, knowledge shaped by elemental fire and ancestral endurance. And though the political center of the Dark Iron clan now lies in Ironforge under Moira's leadership, the Depths remains the clan's ancestral heart. It is here that the past breathes beneath molten stone. It is here that the clan's earliest struggles are preserved. It is here that their culture endures unchanged, forged anew each day by the heat of the mountain. Blackrock Depths remains one of the most remarkable creations of dwarven civilization. Not because it was forged under ideal circumstances, but precisely because it wasn't. Its endurance is a testament to the strength of the dark iron dwarves, a people who survived enslavement to an elemental lord, who rebuilt their lives beneath a mountain reshaped by disaster, and who eventually rejoined their kin as equals. The Depths stands as a living monument to that journey, a city still alive with fire, a foundry still echoing with hammer strikes, a history still breathed by those who walk its halls. Blackrock Depths endures because memory endures. The heat may rise and fall, the magma may shift, the stone may groan beneath ancient pressure, but the Undercity remains, its halls still echoing with the legacy of the Dark Iron clan. It is not a ruin, not a forgotten relic. It is a living scar of Azeroth's history, still open, still burning, still breathing in the dark. To understand the Depths fully, one must understand that it is not merely a place built under fire. It is a place built after fire. Everything that exists within it is shaped by aftermath. The early dwarves who carved out the first chambers did so in the shadow of Ragnaros's eruption, guided not by ambition, but by necessity. They carved because they had nowhere else to go. They built because stopping meant death. They endured because their blood demanded resilience. This resilience became the defining trait of the Undercity. As the generations expanded the Depths, they did not attempt to soften its nature. They built in harmony with the stone's heat, allowing magma rivers to flow openly, forging platforms above molten rock, harnessing geothermal power for their forges and machinery. In any other culture, such an approach would have been unthinkable. To the Dark Irons, it was simply life. And life continued even after the Firelord's chains were broken. When Ragnaros was finally banished from Azeroth for the second time, the mountain's core settled into a more natural rhythm. The fire that remained was ancient and wild, not guided by a lord's will. Yet for the dwarves of the depths, little changed. They did not rely on Ragnaros to sustain their industry. They relied on themselves. Their forges still glowed. Their engineers still worked tirelessly. Their miners still descended into dangerous caverns in search of enchanted ore. The Undercity remained exactly what it had always been, a furnace of endurance. As the years passed, the Dark Iron dwarves continued to split their presence between Ironforge and the Depths. Those who lived under the mountain preserved the clan's oldest customs. They kept the temples lit, not in reverence to Ragnaros, but in respect for the elemental fire that shaped their identity. They continued to craft weapons with the distinct sheen of black iron, carrying forward techniques refined over generations. They maintained the massive constructs that patrolled the Undercity, and they preserved the royal quarters as sacred ground, a memory of leaders who once held their clan together through eras of conflict and loss. Those who moved to Ironforge carried the fire of their heritage with them. They established new forges, taught new apprentices, and contributed to the united Dwarven society. The Council of Three Hammers, Bronzebeard, Wildhammer, and Dark Iron, ensured that no clan would ever again suffer the isolation or exile that once defined the Dark Irons. Under Moira Thaurissan's leadership, her people found renewed purpose, not in servitude or vengeance, but in representation and unity. Yet for all these changes, the Depths did not fade into memory. The mountain's interior remained a functional, fully active center of the clan's industrial might. Its foundries supplied iron and steel to the clan's operations across Azeroth. Its mines yielded rare ores essential for magical forging. Its engineers refined constructs that safeguarded the tunnels and chambers. Its priests preserved ancient rites that honored fire as a symbol of endurance. Its soldiers maintained vigilance, watching for elemental upheavals and structural instability deep below the earth. Every dwarf who walked these halls felt the weight of history. They felt the heat of the ancient eruption that shaped their existence. They felt the pulse of the mountain, steady and relentless. They felt the presence of generations before them. Miners, smiths, engineers, wardens, priests, emperors, whose labor and sacrifice carved this Undercity from molten stone. Blackrock Depths is not a tale of collapse or ruin. It is a testament to survival. It is the story of a people who turned catastrophe into culture, who took fire meant to destroy them and used it to forge their identity, who built a kingdom not through conquest, but through adaptation. Even after the Firelord's banishment, after the unification of the Dwarven clans, after the world changed shape through wars and upheavals, the Depths continues to stand, unchanged in purpose, unbroken in form, undimmed in fire. Its halls still ring with hammer strikes, its forges still burn, its mines still yield the ore of ancient stone. Its priests still whisper rites of remembrance. Its statues still watch with solemn, unblinking eyes. Its magma still flows beneath platforms built on skill and stubbornness. Its air still vibrates with the hum of craftsmanship older than memory. Blackrock Depths remains one of the greatest subterranean works ever carved by mortal hands. It embodies the indomitable spirit of the dark iron dwarves, a spirit tempered by tragedy, strengthened by fire, and carried forward through generations. It is a city that refuses to fall, a forge that refuses to cool, a legacy that refuses to fade. And so, the depths continue, eternal in their darkness, eternal in their heat, eternal in their quiet, enduring flame. The mountain remembers, the stone remembers, the fire remembers, and the dwarves endure. Their story is written in molten rock and blackened steel. It is etched into every rung of the ladders descending into the mines. It is hammered into every blade shaped upon the anvils of the great forge. It echoes in every footstep across the molten span. Blackrock Depths stands as a monument to what fire can take and what fire cannot destroy. The city remains, the craft remains, the clan remains, and their flame, though born in catastrophe, still burns steady in the heart of the mountain. This is Blackrock Depths, the cursed foundry, the enduring flame, the eternal scar that became a home, a place where fire forged not only metal, but a people.